All right, we're back. Give me the first 3 words that come to mind when you hear the name Dan Schneider.
Pedophile.
How? How is that possible?
What do you mean? How was that possible?
He's not the pedo. That was
Oh,
the other guy. That was
okay,
Brian
so
Peck.
okay, but also I feel like they made Brian Peck such a, well, he is a bad guy, but they made him such a bad guy. And
Hold on. You think that they made him a more bad guy than he is and not Dan Schneider?
I
I feel the
think,
opposite. I feel like they tried to make Dan Schneider look horrific and they like brushed over Brian Peck.
really? Because like the shit that they said that, I don't know. I guess I have a different perspective because you said that you just like started like reading up about this,
I've
right?
never heard the name Dan Schneider before watching that documentary.
Okay, so I guess I have a different perspective of it because I've been hearing about Dan Schneider for so long. And I love Amanda Bynes, and I loved watching Zoe 101 with like Jamie Lynn Spears, Britney Spears' little sister.
Yeah.
And I loved Nickelodeon growing up. So
So yeah,
like,
so did I. So okay, when you watched Zoe 101,
okay.
before watching this documentary, like was there anything weird about it? Did you watch that show and you were
So
like, wait a
before the
second, that's kind of
documentary,
weird. Like,
before the documentary though, there was like I said, there was all these conspiracy theories. So I've been hearing about how fucked up Dan Schneider has like was for a long time now. And then ever since like Amanda Bynes went all crazy and stuff, like she was like she started doing drugs and then she had a conservatorship with her like parents and like she was still like she just ended that I think like in the end of 2022. So like she was there was this whole like rumor going around that she had like a fake Twitter and because like they were controlling everything that she was doing, the meds that she was taking, they were basically making her crazy. Wait, I heard they gave her a lobotomy. You know what a lobotomy is?
yeah, like they cut the top of your head off and go inside of your
Basically,
brain.
is
No,
that or no?
they
It's
put
like
a ice pick through your eye and they scrambled around
they
your brain.
basically ruin the
The
front
fuck?
part of your brain to like mess up your memory and like I don't know. I have to like
But
look
this is
into
all
her.
hearsay. This is none of this is factual information. This is all like I heard about this on the internet.
Yeah, but it like all makes sense. Okay, well,
What
I
do you
guess
mean? I mean, sure, this bitch is fucking out of her mind, so sure you could say she had a lobotomy and it makes
okay, but
sense.
hear me out. Okay, so like I said, I've been hearing about Dan Schneider for the longest time. So I think that's why I think that they kind of just like brushed over Dan Schneider and made Brian
They
Peck.
definitely didn't brush over him.
Okay, but
The
they
whole
never
first
said
2 episodes were about how terrible of a man
yes.
he is.
But did he ever get convicted of anything?
He didn't do anything illegal.
He only settled certain allegations, but he was never, I think, convicted of them. So out of court, he paid. But the other guy, the speech,
The vocal coach, yeah, or the
Wait,
yes.
so what did he settle on? I
So-
thought because the one lawsuit that was in the documentary was the writer woman who filed a lawsuit against him for like sexism or whatever it is, verbal abuse,
and
yeah.
discrimination.
Yeah, because they were like sharing a salary. Her and another woman
Yeah.
were sharing.
So
a
that's
salary.
what he settled on, right?
That
He didn't have any pedophile charges against
Okay,
him, right?
but you're telling me. Well,
Are there
yeah.
allegations? Because even in the
Well,
documentary,
he-
it didn't say there were
Well,
allegations.
I think the documentary was filmed by it was co-produced by one of the Zoe 101 actresses. I forgot her name.
Alexa,
Yeah.
Alexa something.
So I think she could only work with what she had access to, but in the hearsay was that a lot of episodes that he directed, Dan Schneider, were like kind of kinks of his being recorded.
Right.
Feet things.
The feet thing.
Doing the whole like.
There was definitely some weird. I'm not saying this dude's
Some?
an angel. There was definitely
There was a lot.
to me there was like 50-50. There was some things like the Ariana Grande thing when she was pouring water on herself and like milking the potato. That was fucking weird.
That was so fucking weird.
But then there's like other shit where the girl's on there like she was like I think it was Zoe 101. It was like the
Mm-hmm.
friend, the brunette friend,
Alexa, I think that's the one
who
that he
she
was talking
was
about.
like, I was just on there. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was just like eye candy for 14-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, like that's what it is. That's what they're
Yeah,
trying to
but
do here. They're
I
trying to
think she
get
was trying to say that
14-year-old boys to watch this, and they want a girl that they would be attracted to like that makes total sense.
yeah, that was her character, but also at like a young age like that, I think she was making it like a big deal because of how young she was and how they were saying that Nickelodeon drove like a wedge between the kids and the parents. Like they were saying that the whole like Nickelodeon took like kids television to the next level because like in some of the like sketches that they did, like they even like had the kids like talk about how annoying parents are or whatever. So I think that's where she was like kind of saying like, okay, they
Yeah, I could see that. That's weird. But also, like, you gotta, I think that that's at the end of the day still on the parents. Like, if
a
you,
thousand percent.
even if somebody's trying to separate you from your child, shame on them for
Yeah.
sure. But at the end of the day, it's still you have to be better than that and overcome that or
But
get your child out of there.
do
Like,
you think, I mean, well, I wouldn't really know. I mean, like, I wouldn't really know unless I had a kid, obviously, and went through that. But, and
yeah.
I definitely feel like it's different, like, in the moment, because you don't really think. I mean, you definitely hear of shady shit in the business, you know? Like, I mean, I I was in LA for 2 years at one
Yeah.
point, and
Did
then I
you
was
ever
in.
see Dan Schneider's dick?
I've never seen Dan Schneider's sick. Thank
That's the clip.
God. No, thank you. But no, thank God. But yeah. So back to what you were saying though. You remember that video that I sent you of the
Yeah, him
interview?
doing the podcast or
Okay, so
whatever.
he
Yeah.
did that podcast, and the guy that was interviewing him was a guy who used to work for him on set at Nickelodeon. So I just thought that
The
was
black dude
super.
with the dreads?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
just thought that was really weird and conflicting because he, like, I don't know, it just was weird because well, you know, you said that how do we know if all this is true, right? He admitted to everything in the video.
Well, he
And
admitted to, like, yes, having women massage him, and he was like, yes, that was wrong, which, yes, it is wrong. But, like, so to me, it just seems like he's a shit boss, a shit person, and a shit boss. And I think that 75% of people that I meet in this world would be in that category. You know what I'm
same,
saying? Like, I
yeah.
don't think that that's like some like, oh my God, this dude's a terrible person that needs a fucking 4-part docu-series made on him because he's a shit boss. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I think there was a lot that came with it too, because, like, I mean, he was connected to like a lot of other shit too. Because, like, the
was he
whole
really connected to the pedophile dudes? Like,
I guess I don't know. I don't
that's what
think
I'm
we'll
saying. It
ever
just makes
know unless Amanda Bynes or like
that's
Jamie Lynn. I just think it's weird because Jamie Lynn Spears also came out and or no, they asked her to be on the docu-series and she said no.
That's
And
that's another thing that makes me weary is that, like, all these people that are talked about, Amanda Bynes, Jamie Lynn Spears, none of them are actually coming forward. Like Drake, who actually came forward and told his story about how he was fucking abused by this dude.
he
Like,
was
that's
literally
real.
raped.
Yeah, that's real shit. Like,
Yeah.
that is factual information where I'm like, all right, this dude was a victim and this dude was the predator and he deserves the death sentence.
Yeah. I
There
honestly
is
thought it was going to be Amanda Bynes when they released it. So I was really surprised to see it was him. I just I don't know. I just think Dan Schneider's story, it's all weird. I get how you see it, like, oh, cause like, and especially like in the service industry too. Like, there's like a lot of freaking weirdos. Like, guys, a lot of guys in the industry have asked me to do weird things for jobs, and
like
like,
what? Well, let's get into this.
well,
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to do for a job?
have sex with one of
Like,
the
someone was just
yeah,
outright like, if you want to
yes,
work here,
you have to have
let's
sex with me.
fuck.
Yes,
And you were just like, I'll go work somewhere else.
yes, absolutely.
Who was it? It couldn't have been was it an owner or was it just like the GM?
It was a GM.
I want to know who it was.
I'll tell you after this.
I wonder if I
I
could
don't think it's
guess.
appropriate.
Like
Oh my god! Like if you seriously can't guess, that's crazy.
I should be able to guess, but also like I feel like that happens all the time, but never really outright said like that. It's never really like, oh, this is a require. By the way, I'll come over tonight, and that's how we'll get you locked in. You know, we'll sign the paperwork after we
No, there's always like
consummate.
you know, sweet talk, and like there's always like some, you know, like hey, like night, like being super nice and very like welcoming and like, you know, warm, and then like soon as you're about to like get in, step your foot into the door, it's like boom, you know?
Yeah,
That's fucking weird. People are weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm around that constantly, and I'm not a woman, obviously, so it doesn't affect me the same way, but I see it. I see it all the time. And then I see like, you know, the girls who obviously see it and understand it and navigate it like yourself.
Yeah.
And then there's the girls that take advantage of it. There's some girls that recognize it
I
and take full
think
advantage of it. And they're like, "Yeah, I'll suck your dick for the best shifts on the schedule." You know what I
those
mean?
are usually like the younger ones, I feel like. Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I just I think that with this whole Dan Schneider thing, I think that everything that led up to the docu-series, like even okay, so the Amanda Bynes thing, right? Like, wait, I think Jamie Lynn Spears had the same story too, where like, or no, that was cleared up where she got pregnant at like 16 or whatever, and there was like a conspiracy theory that Dan Schneider was the father, but I guess they cleared it up and her boyfriend is actually the baby daddy. But the
Wait,
whole
so does
Amanda,
she have a baby or did she have an
she
abortion?
does have
She
a
has a
baby.
child.
She has it like yeah, I don't know how old she is, but like she was on that show. Jamie Lynn Spears was on that show. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here or whatever, where they like put them in like it's kind of like a Fear Factor kind of thing. It's like a bunch of celebrities like in like the jungle or something, and they have to like try to survive, and they're like whatever. She talks about her daughter on there. I was watching it yesterday because I'm telling you,
You're
I went
deep.
down the
You're
fucking
deep in
rabbit
the
hole,
game right
dude.
now.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not out here like defending this man. I don't want to be
I'm not.
like I'm just asking the questions. I need more convincing. To me, that docu-series just felt like a hit piece. It felt like they were taking things out of context and blowing them up bigger than they should be to make this dude look like a horrible person. I'm not completely sold. He is definitely a horrible person, but like I'm just looking for more fat. I need just a little bit
Like,
more
why the fuck
convincing.
did they make a whole docu-series on this man? I feel
Right.
you. Um,
Who would it be? What Nickelodeon actor or actress would it take for you to be like, oh, okay, I
Amanda
believe
Bynes,
Amanda
for
Bynes, for
sure.
sure. Yeah. Like if she
She's
came out and she was like, yeah, this dude like fucking did this and did that, then
okay,
I'd be
but
like,
here's the
okay.
thing with Amanda Bynes, and this is why I think this whole Dan Schneider thing is true, okay? Because Amanda Bynes, like I said, she had the whole fake Twitter. Can I go on my phone? Can I pull it? I took screenshots.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's get some receipts going here.
Wow.
Dude, I am invested. Like I want to know what's going on. I haven't been
I
this
feel
into
you. Me too. After I watched it, I had this conversation with my girlfriend, and I was like, I don't know. It's something feels fishy. Like I don't know why they're coming at Dan Schneider so hard. It just feels like someone who he did wrongly, but not like illegally wrongly, not like fucking pedophile wrongly, but like you know someone who just didn't get treated well in the workplace, like one of these writer women. Who yes, it's terrible, but also that doesn't deserve a 4 episode docu-series about how terrible you
That's
are.
Hollywood, baby. I
You know
feel
what I'm
like I
saying?
don't
Like,
know. I just feel like that's like a known thing. Like you always have to watch your fucking back because look at all the shit that's like coming to light, you know, like about Epstein's Island too, and like they're
yeah.
now they're saying that like the Nickelodeon like splash is like literally the symbol of like Epstein's Island.
Oh, I didn't
Did
hear
you see
that.
that?
No, I
It's
didn't see that.
like to the T, same thing. But okay, the receipts for Amanda
And
Bynes.
then there's also like, who else? Like, yeah, Dan Schneider wrote these shows and was responsible for these particular shows, but there's so many people that have to be above him at the Nickelodeon network
And
that
that's what he was
approved all
saying.
this shit
1,000%. That's what
that
he was
have to
saying.
be, if he's that bad, they're just as bad or worse.
Well, okay.
He was their
Anyone.
co-head. He's the one that literally had Nickelodeon pushing out all these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that got greenlit was by Dan Schneider.
Yeah. But like also he was saying in the interview by the guy that used to work on his set, the one that I sent you yesterday, he was saying like, yeah, like there was so many people above me, so like even like whatever the fuck I wrote in the writer's room like had to get approved by like 10 different people above me, you know? So I get that, whatever, like I don't know, like the whole cum shot like videos that they were showing and shit, like definitely disturbed me a little bit. Like looking back, I'm like, man, no way I used to watch this shit. But that's like with every fucking show. I feel like it's like SpongeBob and like whatever. I get it. It's like not an animation, like, you know, TV show. It's like actual kids and like they're going to school and whatever. So like cum shot scene, haha, that's not really fucking funny for a 14-year-old. I get that. That's kind of
It's
fucked
not.
up.
But here's the thing. As an adult watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, like
It's
yeah,
weird.
that's fucking weird. God, what? And then, but thinking as a 14, 13-year-old kid watching
It's
it,
funny.
it's funny and not at all related
Because
to
that's
cum.
not
Like
what you're
I didn't
thinking about.
exactly.
You're
So
a
it's like,
fucking kid. Like you're not thinking about that shit. But like, I mean, like parents, yeah, obviously, like they're sitting in the background, like looking over your, you know, their kid's shoulder, watching it, and they're like, okay, like something's not right here, you know. Like with SpongeBob, we all knew SpongeBob. There was something up with SpongeBob, like
what was up with SpongeBob?
I mean, there's always conspiracy
What's
theories.
going on with SpongeBob? I don't know
Just
anything
like the
about this.
references and like the shows and all these like, you know, all these cartoons that they had us watching as kids, you know, there's like a lot of like adult references in there. And I don't think it's like like I think it's meant obviously for children, you know, because they don't get it. But like I feel like those like little like once in a blue moon joke thrown in there is like for the adults, you know.
You think so?
Whatever. Yeah.
Because remember, like even in Disney or like in Aladdin, it spelled sex. In what is it, the Chipmunk Adventures, whatever it was called.
Mhm.
Like there was like a new chick if you pause it at a certain hour. Like, there was a lot of those things that were snuck in there. Or
Yeah,
even the recent one.
there's a lot of those little Easter egg things in the Disney movies that they
Well-
say you can see. But there's also a couple things in the documentary that threw me off where I was like, okay, now you guys are like really fucking fishing here. Like
Okay, what do you mean?
when they were talking about how the black kid who was like Mr. Super Snotty Nose or whatever,
yeah,
and they
yes,
said
yes,
that
yeah. And they
the
put the
noses on his shoulders
Were
would look like
penises?
dicks. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, this is, come on, you're reaching here.
but like
They just
I
wanted to put
mean-
dicks on his shoulders.
did you not see like the prosthetic fucking nose that they put on him?
What was wrong with that? It looked like a dick.
It looked like a penis. It did. It did look like a penis.
I
And
don't know.
it did look penis.
That was,
It did. It did look like penises.
That
on
was
his
too
shoulders.
much for me.
I mean,
I was like,
I
come
didn't
on.
really think it was that bad, but totally understand where he was coming from when he said like he just felt so fucking weird being a, you know, like a growing teenage boy in fucking spandex. Like
I mean, I felt that too. I could even relate to it. I told my girlfriend, I was like, I wrestled freshman year of high school, and we had to put those fucking singlets on.
Yeah,
and
so
you
did
have
my
a
brother.
singlet on, and you have your little soft dick is just poking right out of it. Like that's one of those moments that kind of turns you into a man, and
Yeah.
you're just like, all right, whatever. Like you can
I'm
see
doing
my
this.
dick through this, but like it is what it is, and I gotta fucking walk out on this mat, and I gotta press my dick up against this other guy whose dick I
could
could
just
see.
fucking picture
You know what I'm
little
saying?
Zach walking out.
Yeah. It's like,
That's so funny.
like, yeah, sure, it was uncomfortable for you, but you're on this fucking documentary trying to ruin this man's life over that. I'm like, I experienced that too, like in regular life. You know what I mean? Like,
okay,
it's
but
not
let's
that.
be hold on though, because there's also allegations of that. Okay, I need to finish this whole Amanda Bynes thing because it's just I really want Amanda Bynes to come out and share her story because I feel like this will all make sense when she does. So there was this, okay, so she was under a conservatorship, right? With her parents. So they controlled everything.
They controlled everything, and I'm sure if you asked her parents why, they would probably say because she's out of her fucking mind and we don't
Well,
want her to have control of her
they
assets.
but they were making her take medication.
They were, yeah, probably because she's fucking nuts.
Well, we don't fucking know that.
I mean, you're right. We don't. It's
You
all
know,
hearsay.
they could be. They said, okay, so the allegations are, or no, actually, it's when she broke her conservatorship in 2022. I think it was stated in the police report that her parents were basically just like giving her, like feeding her Adderall. They didn't say Adderall, but I'm guessing it was Adderall because they were saying they were giving her medication daily to make her go and like overwork herself because she was like working, like overworking herself as a kid, you know? So I think they
Yeah.
were like just trying to control her because she was like this little superstar. So they were just trying to milk her for her money, you know? And like some parents are like that. Like you would never think that because maybe mommy and daddy loved you, whatever. But then you look at these kids and like you don't fucking know. Like some of these parents sell their fucking kids to the industry and they don't give a shit. They just want the money, you know?
Yeah. But that's like one of the things that the documentary made seem the opposite. They made it seem like her parents loved and cared about her, and Dan Schneider tried to drive a wedge in between them.
With the emancipation.
That's what they tried to make it
But
seem
like
like.
also they were saying how she was being influenced by Dan Schneider, that her parents were no good. But I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
but yeah, but I like, I mean, man, I don't know. See, it just brings me back to fucking square one where I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know now.
That's what I that's why I am on I stand at this point where I'm like, they're trying to make this man look horrific, but there's not real evidence of it. There's evidence of him being a piece of shit, but there's not evidence of him being fucking Brian Peck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like when they just brush, they're talking about this dude who's making women massage him in the workplace like it's like he's Hitler. And then they just brush over the fact that this actual pedophile has a fucking painting from John Wayne Gacy
Yeah.
and letters from him.
And letters. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like they just kind of brush over that.
That's insane.
Like
That's
that, like it's ass backwards to me.
Okay, for me, what's crazy is that he only got sentenced like 16 months.
Yeah.
That's fucking
fucked.
crazy.
He should
What
have had
the
the death
fuck?
penalty.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
That's insane. And like the shit, like being a man and having to come onto a fucking docu-series and be like, yeah, like this man literally forcibly shoved shit up my ass, like that fucking sucks.
That's
That's
you can't be the
rough.
same person. You
No.
can't. That dude ruined that kid's life. He
Yeah.
seems like he's doing decent.
He actually has his own legal problems. He actually was also
On drugs.
no, he was also accused of grooming and
Oh, I saw that was in there
Oh,
too.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was in
yeah.
there.
having a child at that time that was underage. I think it was a girl that was like, I don't know if she was like 14 or 16.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they caught him obviously exchanging. But then it goes back to the same thing, you know, it's if the abuser
Yeah.
or the abused then become the abuser,
Abuser,
and
yeah.
the cycle continues.
Yeah. That's some sick shit.
It's sick shit.
That's some sick shit. Okay, but wait, before I forget
Yeah.
and like completely forget about this whole Amanda Bynes thing, because like this is what I'm stuck on, right?
Yeah.
So the whole reason why I think this is all so crazy is because, like I said, conservatorship, right? So Amanda Bynes had like no fucking freedom of speech. Like she wasn't able to tell her story and everything. It didn't matter what she said because everything just flipped on her, you know, like everything came back at her like in a negative way, right? So apparently she had made a Twitter account back when she was still under the conservatorship because she wasn't allowed to speak about what was going on or whatever. So the username is Ashley Banks, and everyone was saying this was her, and like the comments are like, okay,
What year was this? Because
this
I
was.
have like a foggy memory of this, like Amanda
I do
Bynes'
too, but
fake Twitter account.
there's no date on this. So it was
It was a
before.
couple years ago, though, right?
So her conservatorship ended in 2022, so it had to be like 2021 or 2022.
Yeah,
Okay, because like it
yeah.
was the end of 2022 when it ended. But the comments or her tweets are, I've been forced to deny this account to prevent them from having me committed against my will again. Another one, this is just another ploy and scare tactic for them to keep my money forever. Another one, they won. I must do everything they say in order to keep my freedom. I'm sorry. Another one. Can you imagine having an abortion at 13 because your boss impregnated you? Committed because your father touched you. Exposing the truth and then having your freedom threatened. So they were saying that this was her, right? And then there was like a bunch of like cry for help tweets that it was her. But like obviously if she's trying to stay under the radar and get her message out there without being like I feel like she I don't know like how to explain it. Like the way it seemed like when I was watching the videos, like she made this account, right, to get her message across because she couldn't speak about it. And then she went publicly and said, "No, that's not me," and blah blah blah. But she would make like snarky comments at the end about like Dan. So it makes it seem like okay, so she is that is her Twitter account. Like so she's like kind of contradicting
Right.
when she talks about it.
Like it felt like someone forced her to come out and say it wasn't hers when it really is.
I feel like she did it on purpose. So that way people could be like, "Hey, you guys are not that fucking stupid. It really is me, but I got to say it's not me."
Right,
You
right,
know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what's fucking me up because I'm like, okay, she had the worst of it from what it seems like because before this whole docu-series, like before it even came out, like I saw the trailer like a couple months ago and I was like talking to my mom about it because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I think it's going to be a man because they made the trailer so suspenseful and they
Yeah.
made the whole like the person that came out, which was Drake, they made it like, oh, we don't know who it is, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then they interviewed someone and they were like, oh, someone was abused, like, and like one of our actors, you know, and they were so surprised. So it was so suspenseful to me. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch this. So I really thought it was going to be Amanda Bynes. But I mean, I guess, I don't know, it makes sense because she just, like, obviously she's not right. And like, she's all types of fucked up. And like, she doesn't really make sense when she talks. And I feel really bad for her. But I don't know. I just feel like I won't believe any of this shit. I mean, like, I believe some of it. Like, I believe what's told, but like, I really just need Amanda Bynes to come tell her story.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, same. I would love for that to happen. But also, if she's past the point of like having lucid thoughts and conversations, even if she did come out, what does it
Did
even
you?
mean?
Yeah, true. Did you see the video of her when she on when I was telling you about St. Patrick's Day? It was last year, St. Patty's. Like they found her on Hollywood Boulevard just walking around butt naked. Some girl on TikTok actually. She was like, "Hey, I'm with my girl Amanda Bynes," and Amanda's like, "Hey."
And she was just naked.
She had her clothes on at this point, but
Oh,
I think after this video is when she had a psychotic break and she like stopped the car. She was butt ass naked, and she stopped the car and like told them that she was coming off of a psychotic break and she needed help, and she called 911 on herself, and then they put her, they 5150'd her in the psych ward. I guess they put her on like a hold, and then I don't know. She was released, and I haven't heard of anything since then. And then when all this shit came out, I like looked up her name and I saw that she did a podcast back in like she started her own podcast with a guy in November. And it was so fucking awkward. Like it's so just watching her videos is so uncomfortable to watch. Have you watched her videos?
no, I
Nothing?
haven't. I've like it's hard to even like look at her face now, thinking about like who she was and then seeing
Mhm.
her now. I'm
It's
like,
so like I
ugh.
feel so bad. It sucks.
Yeah, it's fucked. It really
Yeah.
is fucked. Like either way, whether fucking homeboy is the monster that they say he is or not, she got the shit end of the stick for sure.
I feel like Jamie Lynn Spears did too. Oh, actually, we're missing someone that did come forward. And she told her story. Um, the girl that was on iCarly. So it wasn't iCarly, but it was the blonde chick.
Oh, yeah, she had a book for it as well too.
Yeah. Um.
Oh, that like that book
Oh,
that
wait. No,
I'm
wait.
glad
That's
I
iCarly.
I'm glad my mom's dead. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, because her mom died of breast cancer or some shit like that. But
But she was happy.
The,
happy that her mom passed away because her mom was the one that like
She was the
pushed
abuser.
her. Yeah, she was the abuser, and she like pushed. I feel like that's how you get like fucked up, like in a situation like that in the show business when your
Jeanette
parents,
McCurdy.
huh?
Jeanette McCurdy.
Jeanette McCurdy.
yeah, they went over that in the documentary or
What?
docu-series as well. That book, that girl in
Oh
that
yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they went
They
over
did.
like the quotes that she was alluding to whoever this person was being Dan Schneider,
Yeah.
but like she didn't say it.
She didn't.
No.
No,
I thought she
had
did.
a nickname. It's just either the boss or the man or something
Oh.
like that.
But I mean, okay, so all these Nickelodeon stars are coming out with all these stories, and they're not coming forward about it. Like,
Yeah.
But there's also people like from Ned's Declassified. I forgot the two actors from there.
Yeah.
But they said that they didn't experience anything at all like that on their side.
oh, and then there's the guy from Zoe 101, the black kid. His brother was Corey on like That's So Raven or whatever. Or
Or
wait,
no, the Skeeter or whatever, right?
I think.
Cousin Skeeter.
Yeah.
You remember not that kid was hanging around for a minute. Do you remember that Diamond Cut? I remember Navik was boys with him.
He was.
The
Yeah,
kid from
yeah.
That's So Skeeter, yeah. Or whatever
I
the fuck
don't
it is,
remember.
Cousin Skeeter.
But he was okay, so I guess his mom came out and was saying like supporting Dan. And she was saying like, oh, Dan was a great producer, he was a great guy, he made like all these dreams possible for all these kids and whatever, and she like came out and said that. And I guess people were coming for him, and then he publicly spoke and said something along the lines of like, I'll come out with my story when I want to. I do have my own story aside from my mom's and my brother's story or whatever. So I guess whatever his like, I don't think he has the same story as his mom, because it seems like he's trying to say that the complete opposite about Dan, that he's a horrible guy and not a good guy like his mom's saying.
Right.
Which that's goes back to me saying that's how like scary it is in the like in the business and being in Hollywood, especially like at a young age like that. Like that's fucked up. And I feel like a lot of it is the parents' fault for like being so hard on them, and then like forcing them to do like pressuring them to do all this work at such a young age that makes them feel like not that they're not loved and not that they're bad parents, but they feel so overworked that they're like, oh, like, and then especially going into that age of like, you know, teenage years, you already hate your parents, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I fuck my parents, whatever. And you're making all this money, so you're like, oh, I want to get emancipated now and like whatever. So honestly, it's like the parents' fault. Like I think that any parent bringing their child into an industry like that, you need to sit down with your kid and be like, hey, like whatever's like too much for you, like speak up about it, because I feel like they feel like they don't have a voice and they have to do these things or else they're going to be cut out from certain like shit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And
I
it's
blame the
true.
parents completely. Cuz like even, Drake's dad saw that this dude was like wanting to get close to his kid in a weird way,
Yeah.
and like
Oh, Drake's dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, watch out for
He told
this
the
dude
mom.
Brian Peck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mom just kind of let it happen.
Yeah.
And it's fucked.
It's fucked,
like,
and that sucks too.
not to like, obviously I feel bad for his dad because you saw like how upset he was,
Yeah.
but like to see that and then not keep an eye on it, even after, the dude drove a wedge between them and then he had to give custody to the mom or whatever it was, like to see that somebody is near your child that's like that you're suspicious of, and then not keep an eye on him and like keep up with that is crazy to me.
No, I agree, but I think that with like his mom, I don't know, for me like moms are always like they know everything, you know, like they feel everything, whatever. So it's just like was a shock to me that his mom was just like his dad was basically like, hey, like whatever, I'll step back from being his manager under one condition and one condition only, and that's you don't leave him under the supervision of Brian Peck, and you don't let him, like, you know, be with him alone, whatever, you know, gave her all these rules about how creepy he was and how he's not to be trusted. And then after he goes and tells his story, he's basically like, Drake is like, yeah, like, I was sleeping over his house, my mom was dropping me off. Like, bitch, your husband literally just fucking told you, like, watch out for this guy, something's not right. And you're a woman. That's coming from a fucking man saying that, you know? Like, that's, you should have been like, hello, red flag right
For
there.
sure. Yeah, to me,
That's
I mean, she
crazy.
dropped the ball completely. That's fucked.
That's crazy.
Super fucked.
I
gotta
mean,
pee
I don't
again.
know. I think it's, I mean, what did you say? Another one going over my head. What'd you say?
I said I have to pee again.
I'll go.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.